Right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ulysses Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee meeting for August 6th. It's 5:03. First order of business is roll call for the committee members. We want to.
Carl Pinkowski, Planning Board Chair.
Both line, planning board.
Roxanne Marino, Conservation Sustainability Advisory Council.
Hi, Vasilia's committee member.
Karen Metter, committee member and Board of Zoning Appeals. Allison Weaver, committee member.
Elizabeth Weatherby, committee member and town board member. I do believe Ann DePetta, the chair, is going to be joining us. She's just racing from work. So she can come in and introduce herself when she gets here. So Niels did, and just for everybody, Niels is joining us remotely today. He is a little under the weather, so he's gonna join in and add to the discussion as he can. And if we have any questions when we start getting through the agenda items, you can chime in as well as Angela. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
So Angelina, I'm our beaker, and then I'm also joined. You want to introduce yourself?
Just stand up so you can see me. Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm new to MRB. I work in planning. Well, I've worked in planning for 4 years with Madison County, and I actually studied at Mel for 2 years at City of Regional Planning. So I'm familiar with the area. Very excited to work with you guys on that such process.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet you and welcome to the team. Niels did present an agenda. Is anybody have a chance to everybody had a chance to take a look at it?
Yeah.
Any modifications or changes? No?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yes, I have to say aye too, sorry. All right, then let's get into it. The first item up is the approval of the past minutes. We have 2 months of minutes this time. We didn't quite have a full quorum the last time to really dig in, so we held them. Did everybody get the chance to look at the June 4th meeting minutes?
There was one minor correction, and that was approving the previous minutes. You had me on both making the motion and seconding it, but Karen Metter is the one seconded it, so we corrected that.
Okay. And Molly, you were able to make that? Okay. Anybody else have any edits or amendments or changes? No? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for June 4th?
Yes.
Okay, you made it. All right, I'll second it.
All
Well,
those
we don't
in,
want you to do both again.
yeah,
Right.
all
Keep it
those in
clear.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and then we also had the July 2nd meeting minutes. Any updates, comments, changes, corrections to those meeting minutes?
Not for me.
I don't have it up on my computer, but I had a note. I think, is that the one where it just talked about that we talked about the locations for the second public hearing? I just think it would be good to include that, because we've emphasized it every single time that we're looking at more broadly, so outside the village of Trumansburg, so. Thank you.
I'd support just adding in that,
Yeah,
looking at other areas than the school where we had the first open house. Are you good with that, Molly? Well,
I'm just looking through the section.
yeah, I have
Okay, so at the end, it says fall open house, and we just add like location.
well, that we're actively trying to find a location outside the village of Trumansburg to spread it around the town, because, yeah. So I think it's good for people to know that. We've said it every time, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find location outside of the village.
Yeah, people would appreciate that we're trying to do that.
all right, I'll make a motion to approve the draft minutes as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Molly, a second. The next item on our agenda is privilege of the floor. And I do not see anybody in person or online. So. I guess we can, is there a motion to close the privilege of the floor?
I'll make a motion to close privilege of the floor.
I'll second it.
And in fact, I don't think we actually have to go through this process.
I know we do in the
we
planning board,
do.
but I don't
We
know. Oh,
But
Yes, you do.
it's a motion to close the public
to,
privilege of the floor,
Yeah, because if you leave,
hearings we do,
Oh.
not privilege of the floor.
I guess, yeah, seems like you do
We have
something
two.
formal, so.
I think if
Anyway.
you don't close it, then anybody
And then-
can speak it in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought, I mean, I think Caitlin says something. She's not here. I don't remember what, but it's.
she's in Alaska.
Oh, wow. Alaska.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
So, all right, so we have a motion and a second to close the privilege of the floor.
all in favor?
All in favor? Aye. All right, so now we're getting into old business. And we're gonna be looking at reviewing the revised drafts of the transportation element and the community well-being element for public release. Do you wanna kind of let us know where you are?
Yeah, so I think we're just wondering from you also, obviously, we made all of the edits that you all have regarding those two topics. So we were just double checking that everyone felt comfortable with them. If you would like us to release them, the chapters that you have approved so far, we have put them on the website. So those are available to the public, so as you all approve them, that's where they've been posted.
Like, you're talking about the transportation and.
Community well-being.
Right, because in the minutes, it said that they were gonna be discussed, I mean, in the emails. From before, from Neil's, like in July, it said they were gonna be discussed at this meeting. The August meeting.
Yeah.
And so I thought that it wasn't that I mean.
They're
Unless,
not posted yet. I don't know how many comments.
Posted, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
unless
just
there's
trying to
another
check.
draft other than the ones I read. I don't see how those are possibly ready for release to the public yet, but maybe I'm misunderstanding what I'm supposed to be reading, so.
so the transportation,
So there's, sorry, I'll come up.
nope, you're good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the July 2025 folder, there should be the latest draft.
Okay, so I guess I missed that one. And I was reading
And there's a
One.
PDF and a Word version.
Exactly. So, yeah, I was. Out of town working and didn't make that deadline for the reviewing, but, yeah, so I guess
Well, I mean, those haven't been finalized yet, so if
Right.
there are items we wanna go through.
no, so I might have,
Take
I
some
must have
time.
put it in the wrong place. I am sorry.
I was gonna say, we could give folks is like another week helpful, just if you have any
Or
other.
maybe I did, maybe I did put it in the right. Yeah, I did. I put, it's in the right one.
Are you the guest user?
Yeah.
Focused,
Yeah, because I can't log in the other way. Sometimes I try to put.
or my name
initials,
doesn't
but
pop up either.
I try to put my initials, but I guess I didn't here. Yeah, I guess I'm the guest user here.
Okay. I mean. We could go through or. I think the first one is just a word choice. Right, cause you're looking at. Comparing to the
Yeah,
2009
yeah,
plan,
the
so
area,
we're-
yeah, that was just, it's a little confusing. Says focuses like it's. the
There's a couple.
text.
just little edits in here.
Okay.
Oh, I have a
And
lot
then-
of comments in here, actually, I'm sorry, but I thought that's what we were supposed to have ready for this meeting today, so I didn't send it on earlier, cause I just couldn't, like
Yeah.
farmers, I had a lot of work this month in my jobs.
We had looked into it a little bit at the July meeting, but not a lot of people were
Right,
here.
no, I remember.
So we
I
gave
was
everybody
there.
a little bit of
Yeah.
extra time.
Right. Yeah, I was
And
at the July.
we can take a look. And if there's anything you wanna discuss, we can spend some time here. Roxanne?
Sure.
Happy to go through any comments or discussion
I don't know if
items.
anybody else has, but I didn't see other ones, but.
Okay, let's see, I'm gonna go through. is there anything high level you wanted to go over on the?
I think it was just, the time frame we gave you, basically Eric went back in and kind of just went through all of your comments, so if you probably put like all marked up. You'll just see that he did that, he addressed your red lines basically, and then in PDF, there's red lines in there too. So we just wanna double check with you all, do you feel good about these red lines, is there anything else? Major that you wanted us, to take a look at, or that you had comments about. Before we release it. And then we would do the same process that we did before, where basically we'll have a poll and everyone can vote if they're ready for it to be released or not.
Okay. Do you have the chapter in front of you?
I do not. Oh, yes, we have one right here.
Perfect. I guess one question, which is a good one, on page 13. I'm assuming all these are your Roxanne, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
Chapter?
Except
That transportation.
I saw a lot from Neil's too. but maybe
Transportation.
they dealt with those,
A lot of Neils, I think, were resolved in the edits. That looks like they were closed. So we have a map that says where the permitted large trucks can go. Is that map on page 14, the New York State Reasonable Access Highways, the only roads they can use, or those are the ones that they really should be limiting to? I think that's your question there, Roxanne, right?
Yeah, I
What
guess
says the
I have
map?
it as page 12, but maybe it's the way it lays out on my computer. I think I'm looking at the right document. The bottom of page 12, it says, with some exceptions, permitted large trucks should not use any of the roadways in the map below. And it looks to me like the map below is the only roadways they should use. Cause there's. Right, I mean, it's just like the most major roadways that they should use through the town. just remember-
96 and 89.
I just remember the stuff about the landfill and issues with that the town brought up, and,
Do we define large truck?
well, I don't know, but there's only like 2 roads that are mapped, and so saying that they shouldn't use any of them means where should they go, on the 4 roads? I think it's just a typo.
Yeah, I can ask Eric to
Okay.
rewrite that sentence.
Yeah, just take a look and make sure.
That map and make sure. It all matches up.
Yeah. Cause I mean, there's also like large, there are or exceptions for ag trucks. Can go on any kind of road,
Right, so that's.
but yeah, like
Right.
trash trucks, I don't think are allowed to come up from the city through our streets. I think they have to
Right.
stay on the main throughways and so
Yeah,
forth.
89, 196.
It's gotten better, but they don't follow it entirely, cause I do occasionally see them.
Are they coming from the city or are they coming from Ithaca going north to the landfills?
I've primarily seen them coming from Ithaca, but
Yeah,
possibly both directions.
they might have.
But it's definitely better than it was.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago before they.
I think it's good to clarify that agriculture vehicles are exempt for, but also my just point being, look at the map, because. There's only 2 roads on the map that are shown,
In our town.
and the sentence says. Large trucks should not use any of the roadways in the map. So I think it's the opposite, they should only use those roadways. So check the map out in addition to the agricultural vehicles.
Okay.
So then on the next page, like Neil said, raised, and it was resolved, but it's not really resolved, it's just like,
Right.
sorry, this isn't our map, but like, can we ask to get it and modify it, or at least use the old fashioned, you put it in a program and you crop it out? I mean, I think it's super distracting to our plan to have this giant map of the whole county's roads that doesn't focus on Ulysses.
So this map, just for folks who are following from home, is the bike suitability map.
Yeah, figure 4.
And a lot of it is focused directly within and around the city of Ithaca and the town of Ithaca. There are areas of art, actually, I don't even think it goes up to the town of Ulysses. I think that's the line right there.
So maybe we can.
Would there be a way to? Cause there are trails, bike trails in our town. that are either designated or you go on like alltrails.com. I don't know what maps you use, Roxanne, to identify bike trails, but maybe there's a way to create, like MRV, create your own map.
Yeah, kind of just like superimpose like those trails and put them on our own.
Yeah, that could be a GIS layer or something
Yeah, we can do
available.
that.
Well, this map right now, figure 4, is countywide and it says that the source is Ithaca Tompkins Transportation Council. And the answer to Niels's question that I saw was, sorry, this isn't our map, we can't change it. So it seems like maybe we could ask them for data or the map or the layers to the county. And we can just do Ulysses, or even maybe the routes into Ithaca from Ulysses would be interesting with regard to, you know, potential commuting. It's not something a lot of people can do, but some people can do it. But the whole, you know, eastern side there really, you know, dominates the map, and it's not really applicable to the town at all, so I guess I'd like to see that. And I don't know if it's just the way it shows up in Word on my computer, maybe the PDF doesn't look like this, but it's like a tiny strip of text goes along the edge of the map. It could just be a Mac PC thing, I don't know, but in terms of releasing to the public, the formatting seems a little messed up. But it could just be my computer, and maybe I didn't look at the PDF, so. Just mentioned.
Yeah, that's something that would all be resolved before we would post it. We would make sure all the formatting is good.
Right,
So I know sometimes people make comments or they add text, sometimes things get shifted around and things. Text boxes move, so we can get all that stuff.
Okay. Great, I think you're next.
so maybe I'm the only one who commented after the fact of other people, sorry, but. So on page 15, and I was just adding again that you could, says the Black Diamond Trail is a great recreational asset, but it could also be considered a potential commuting asset to Ithaca and Cornell for some people. I mean, not everybody, but you could mention that it's a possibility.
My husband kind of uses it to commute, but because he works at the hospital, but there's not a very good access point from the trail to the hospital. It's like
Right, it's
hiking through
up
the
a hill,
woods,
yeah.
you know, so he would love to be able to take the trail all the way there, but he finds it's easier to get off and cross over to Du Bois Road.
Right. So, but maybe, if we included here, or maybe that, it's part of the if you add here that it's a potential commuting asset, and then.
No,
And then in the objectives, we could put in, working with CMC and others off the trail to make it more accessible to get on and,
yeah, I think complementing that comment I made previously was about how we also need more access to the trail from the connecting roads, particularly if you look at the roads from 89 and 96 to the trail. They don't have adequate shoulders, if any shoulders at all.
right. So just thinking about developing that more, and it connects into, I think, another comment I made later about the TCAT and the buses, there are bike racks on the buses, and so you can couple those two things together. So it's part of it's not a thing, a ton of people can do, but it is a thing that some people can do. I mean, I do it sometimes. It can be done. Karen's husband does it, so. Anyway, that was that comment. We'll let Ann get settled.
Sorry. It's coming from my mom's and starting at 5:30.
You're all good. Lot going on.
Yes. So what do I have to do to?
We are. You want to introduce yourself? You
I'm
can.
Ann DePetta, the co-chair here with Liz. Should have been here at 5. Sorry, it's also my birthday, so maybe you can just forgive me. Yeah,
Good.
not really an
You
excuse.
didn't bring us cupcakes?
I thought about it, but you don't want to know what my day was like
I'm
today,
happy for
so,
that.
yeah. Um. I'm on this committee.
Okay.
Co-chair.
No, we're just talking through a couple of the newer comments on the transportation section chapter.
Do you want me to take over?
If you want. We are
In the,
just kind of talking through some of these items, with, I think we might end up getting a couple extra days just for
That's the
resolution of these comments and
Yeah.
making sure that we're all on board, and then I'm sure we can send out a poll like we had the other ones where, hopefully everybody's doing that. I don't know. We can ask that
We
later.
have some participation. We'll just-
Before they're released publicly, make sure everybody gets a chance to look at it
Mhm.
with these comments addressed.
so in the latest document draft word is where I put comments. Sorry, I couldn't do it by the earlier date. I was working.
Yeah.
I was
no,
like
it's a
away
busy
on
time.
a field trip
Same,
work for
yeah.
3 weeks. I just couldn't do it, but I did it. And so now we're looking at that. So,
Okay.
apologies, but it did say in messages from Niels that we were gonna talk about these chapters at this meeting.
Okay,
So I thought I was still within realm.
Okay.
okay.
I think looking through these, I think I would like to kind of jump ahead just in the interest of time, because we have a lot to cover today.
I think an unrealistic amount.
But-
My personal opinion.
But I don't want, what I'd like to focus in on is actually hold on, let me get to it. The comments on the objectives, because I think that's really where, or don't need this heading, I saw there's a couple. There's a couple comments, I guess there's only 2, 3. But I think the objectives, I wanna just make sure we're all on the same page, are those to me are some of the real like takeaways from the comp plan, so I wanna make sure we're looking at these and reviewing them and your comments on those, so I think it's on. Mine's page 32.
And we're on the July
2025
2025 draft.
I just do
Okay.
want to make a comment about some of the maps just seem really unnecessary, and this chapter is like 32 pages long, and people have to read, there's only like 4 pages of suggestions at the end, which is kind of the meat of what we're talking about. And I just, again, I think it's, I just don't think we need all of that stuff. I mean, some of them hardly show anything extra that a line of text doesn't show. And so I really think it's worth looking at that, because it's pretty distracting to people trying to get to the meat of the point of the chapter in my opinion. But
Yeah, I think
if you want to talk about them later, that's fine, or not at all, but I really think that.
I mean, I think one of the things we were talking about when we first started this was that pictures show a lot more, but I understand that we don't want to have duplications, or if something can be said in one image and keep referring to those figures, but there are opportunities to do that.
Well, like congested roads in Tompkins County, figure 9, there's like 4 little red lines. It's a countywide map. It has nothing to do with Ulysses. Like, why do we need that? I mean, it's a picture, but it's not adding anything.
Which page was that, Roxanne?
2019, oh, it's 1900. I mean, you can say that in one sentence. So I just think trimming it down a little bit makes it, I mean, people are just reading and reading and reading background information. Good to provide people, but the meat of our plan is objectives and policies and suggestions that the town is gonna take on to improve things, so.
Yeah, I could see that one. I mean, we're not in New York City. Or like suburban, we're pretty rural, even with city of Ithaca. Yeah, why don't send everybody, well. What do you guys think? And I'm not trying to.
No, you just let me know when you're good.
I'm if something like that, I just glance at it, and if it doesn't say anything, I just move on.
Okay.
But the idea of,
Cause you guys
you
are the
know,
ones who
condensing
do
it
too, so.
from about 32 pages to around 20 or 25, so you get to the objectives and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff sooner, I think is worth doing it.
Is there a way to put some of it in an appendix if people want to see more information? I mean, I agree, like, if we're trying to actually, we want people to read this and they see that it's a 40-page, 35-page PDF, like that might seem like a lot. If there's like 10 or 15 or 20 pages of like real content for consideration with extras in the back.
Even just put the maps at the end
Yeah, so,
with the reference,
yeah,
look at map, whatever.
Or even, along the line of what you just said, all the, planning background stuff could almost be an appendix,
Yeah.
almost all of it.
Mm.
And then you just, and you can expand the summary that's in the first couple paragraphs of the goals and objectives. And then, so that you get to those much faster. And it's either an, appendix or whatever, however you want to lay it out, but I mean, yeah, some people just skim over stuff.
Right.
You've committed to be on this committee and read it all, but like a lot of people are just gonna be like, they can't even
especially
find
if you're
it.
digging and it's
Yeah.
28 pages later.
Right,
Yeah.
so I feel like if we could make the background, of which there's a lot, useful things, and even you could put in the map, but doesn't necessarily.
Similar to-
That's changing, that's completely changing the way we have all this chapter set up.
Not really, I mean, this one is,
I thought we had like mentioned that, like.
yeah, we
We
definitely.
talked
mentioned-
about moving some information to the, like, references and so forth.
An
but
introduction
or-
chapter is what we
The,
talked
like,
about.
countywide planning, like instead of having all of those policies in, that's
Right.
something that we decided. Did not need to be like in the beginning, or having a description of past plans that are relevant. We decided, it's okay to just bullet them, have that elsewhere, not taking up space. So I know those are two things that we talked about.
We talked about like having sort of an introduction, kind of existing conditions chapter, actually. That we were gonna put a lot of the things that were in some of those earlier chapters.
Right, like the demographics. like
Right,
the
and all that, yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
like,
that we would still do.
right, but something like this could be, and I mean, there's just a lot of detail to transportation. That perhaps could be in an appendix if people really wanted to see all these maps and see all this technical detail and just. You can condense it so that there's text and then get to the things we're suggesting. I mean, to me, and I read a lot of reports and I'm a scientist, so I don't mind reading detail, feel like it's not something that the public, it's not that approachable for the public.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I had that feeling reading also. You get a little tired after 10, 15, 20 pages for one topic. I do think it would be nice if there was something really specific, if we're looking for readability for the community, like, I don't know, what does everybody think? If you were asked to review something and it's, how many chapters do we have? 10? 9, and like, what is a reasonable amount of sitting and reading for each of those tabs for the general public?
I mean, I'm all for background information,
Yeah.
technical detail and
Yeah.
resource,
And I-
resource
yeah,
access. Like,
Having
I'm
it
all
organized
for
in
it.
a way where it's like, have the summary, you have the, what do we really want to input on? And then if you have time and you're able to like look at all the deeper dive, take the deeper dive, I do think that's.
Our past comp plan, which I don't have with me right now, but was like that, like, there's a whole bunch of appendices and materials. I'm not saying it has to be that way, but it was summarized, and so the reading was short to get to the points. And I just kind
I
of
do
like
think
that kind of.
How, I do think we need some, I like seeing like a little background information. Maybe we could condense it or consolidate it
Oh,
a
yeah,
little bit.
I'm not saying.
But
Yeah, I
like-
would say I would.
I like
agree that
having
we
it
should have
existing, like
something
what we're
for
here now, and then
background.
what do we want for the future, like in one chapter. Right, one to the other, and there's could be some additional information or. Supporting documentation in an appendix, but I don't wanna like just have all the existing conditions in an appendix, so to speak.
Yeah.
I
no.
just,
I mean, you would, you'd have a condensed version and you can refer to a lot of this technical detail that is in these 30 pages in an appendix. So that it reads along more. Easy for the public. I mean, I was feeling honestly like I was reading a report that somebody wrote about transportation in Tompkins County and Ulysses as opposed to the comp plan where here's your issues.
What our dreams
here's-
are.
Yeah, what your vision is and how, what objectives you might use to get to it.
so what, I mean. Is this a change now we're making now and we're gonna direct MRB to make this change now for everything that are out in the public? Is it something we wanna consider and see what input we get from the public? I'm trying to think of. How to keep this moving and not
Mhm.
keeping going backwards and redoing things.
Well, I think this chapter's kind of different. I mean, this is the densest one I've seen in terms of like stuff before you get to the meat of it. I mean, the community one that we're also discussing today isn't really like that. I didn't think the other two that I read in a lot of detail were necessarily like that. The natural resources and the climate resiliency one, and we talked about ways to, refer to those things away later. And so I just found this one to be especially dense in background technical detail. So I don't think I'm suggesting making a complete change from the way we've been doing it.
Mhm.
I mean, I do think we should have a consistent structure to the chapters. I think Anne mentioned that in her comments on the other chapters.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful to be able to predict.
Yeah.
Um. The outline. So. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think I said, I would give folks a couple additional days, cause it sounds like there's still some thoughts and comments people might have, or they might wanna. Look at other parts and see, does this need to be resolved, so we figured maybe. By like another week, is that helpful, just to have some time to kind of relook at it, I guess we would ask you all, if you think it's a little dense in the existing conditions part, I know we've come to this before of just, you think a lot of things are important, but like, what would you wanna take out? So if like you have comments and you wanna mark, like, I think this can go, in, the appendices or, a different section of the plan, I feel like that's kind of the feedback we would want, so we can see, if we're gonna make this more concise. Where are areas, that we would agree that we could cut out and put elsewhere.
Okay, does that make sense? So you'll. Send us, you're gonna give us a week.
And you can make comments still in that July
fine.
2025 draft. And then we'll take a look at it and we'll make the revisions.
Okay. I'm gonna take. Take the reins here.
Sure.
Okay, so anything, is there anything else to? Talk about for the transportation element?
Well, Liz wanted to go to the few comments I had regarding the objective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we wanted to just go through those specifically, because like we've said,
Mhm.
those are kind of like the meat and the bones of what we
Right.
wanna see for this. So I think the first one. Maybe it's just terminology that we just get some insight from MRB when you guys are looking through this and what denser means.
Right. I mean, there's some, I thought good language, as I said in this comment, in the objective 2.3 of the current one that, where we talk in more detail about those kind of things that we could think about, things we didn't do, so that might be a place to think about incorporating what denser means, because dense for our towns, different than dense for city of Ithaca.
Okay, and then on T 113, there's whether we wanna include language to create a cycling route map. Specific to the town, we can work with local resources and other companies or. Entities like
There's
local cycling groups,
in Tompkins County.
to better identify where the routes are. So I wouldn't be against having that as a goal to
Yeah,
Mhm.
and again,
develop, if
there's,
we can have it accessible on our website, links of summer. So that's not something you have to do, it's just, do we wanna add that as an item here,
yeah,
just to prepare?
and again,
On
I
that.
think there's pretty good language in 4.5 of our old one where we were talking about those kind of things, so. You know, there's language that's, you can incorporate, just add another bullet that we're gonna do that. Or expand that bullet.
Okay,
The next comment, I just thought perhaps externalities is something that's confusing to people. Like it's all about environmental impacts or so. Externalities, you could do dash environmental impacts or something so people understand what. Talking about. Or what the focus is. And then the other thing I had there was. Perhaps adding work with Ithaca Car Share, or consider working with Ithaca Car Share to. Provide location, potential location options in. Ulysses and Trumansburg, that's been discussed a few times before, they changed their. Insurance, there was problems, but I
mhm,
mean, this could help both reduce the use of personal vehicles and the number of. Personal vehicles households feel like they need, or enable people to better commute. You know, if they don't necessarily need a car that much.
mhm.
So I just suggest adding that as a goal
Okay.
or whatever. Housing. Objective, something.
Do we need to ask for any comments on that while we go, or we're just hearing what your input is, Roxanne?
I was just explaining. why
Okay.
Certainly people should.
Okay,
Say-
jump in, anybody, if
Yeah.
you have anything to say. So, all right, Roxanne, you want to carry on?
Yeah, then I think on the next one I had was just where it says objective is. Eliminate severe and fatal collisions in the town. I thought maybe that could be expanded to include,
Mhm.
encompass increasing safety for
Mhm.
walking and cycling.
Good
Motorcycle.
idea.
Yeah,
All the
motors-
above,
yeah, not just people getting
collisions.
killed in car crashes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Good idea.
it's the same thing, it's just expanding it. To show that we,
Yeah, that's becoming a very big issue around Black Diamond Trail.
Mhm.
right, are thinking about a lot of other things besides just car crashes.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, that was the last one I had there in terms of the objectives.
I would support adding something in about a car share. I don't know what opportunities and I don't know what that all entails of adding it. Probably need a dealer or something up here, but that might be a new job opportunity for somebody.
Yeah,
We have the right location too, because we'd have to have someplace to keep the cars. And
Yeah.
then access to
It's
the
a
cars.
20-year vision for the future, so it certainly seems like something.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to add it as a discussion item, so,
Yeah.
a goal.
So everybody can go back and take a look at those edits, just take another look at the maps, see if there's a thought anybody has, a grand idea about kind of condensing the existing conditions in the upfront section. And we have a week to do this.
Right.
And then once that's done, then you'll send out the poll asking if it's ready to be released. Okay. So we'll get a poll. Today's Wednesday, so next Thursday.
Probably, yeah, I would say next Thursday, next Friday, and then you
Okay.
can have the weekend to kind of decide.
Okay.
Right. Are we good with that? Okay.
So in what, we have to 1 week to send the suggestions. So that's next Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna make the edits that same day or the next day?
Yeah.
And send
we'll
it out?
have to
Okay,
make that
I just wanna make sure I'm on the same week.
So
That's a
we have
fast
until,
turnaround.
we have until August 13th to do our next review of transportation, and then that same day. You'll release the poll, or you'll make your changes, and then,
Yeah,
Probably within a day or two.
yeah, exactly,
With the day
probably by
review.
that Friday, just to be safe.
okay,
And then we'll have the weekend just to take another look.
so August 15th, we'll do the poll, okay. All right. Anything else? Should we go on to the next item? So the next is the preliminary review of the draft community well-being element.
I like this chapter. I like that's new.
Yeah, so I think, Angela, or Angelina's, you're gonna introduce or give us an overview, or how do you wanna go
Yeah,
forward with
and I
this?
think we
Okay,
kind of gave an overview, sorry, last time, and I think Karen shared some of her, high level thoughts that we had, so. Obviously set up very similar to what we had before, but this really looked at existing community services, organizations, different departments. It looked at how we're using current facilities, and maybe like where there's some gaps, and a lot of it was based on public input. I know a lot of it, most people know, people were asking for more like park amenities, recreational facilities, third spaces, especially teens. We had some younger demographics weighing in on the survey that, they would just like some third spaces to just be able to hang out, after school or on the weekends, things like that. Looking at longevity of having more activities for seniors and having people that are aging in place also have places they can go and have things to do. So that's really kind of what this chapter was looking at, and then also just looking at in general community health and just, what contributes to, positive mental health, positive well-being, looking at economic stability, healthcare and access and quality, social and community environment. And then the neighborhood and built environment. So that's really the overview of kind of what we've looked at, and basically making sure residents have the services they need and they also have, a positive experience.
so what do we need to discuss specifically, do you think, about this?
I just wanted to see, kind of just open the floor that if anybody had any thoughts. I know, like I said, Karen last time was able to share her thoughts, so I just wanted to see if there are any other thoughts out there, major concepts, or if there's anything, that is a topic that you think we should mention in here that we didn't, or something you'd like us to expand on. That's kind of the feedback we're looking for.
So, yeah, I actually commented on the wrong version of this one. That was the one I got wrong.
It's a little confusing.
Try to go back and forth. Yeah, no, it's my bad, really. I can look at, see what's the same. Yeah, there was a sentence that I thought didn't entirely make sense, but I can look and make sure that's, see, I did have a couple. Oh, Anne had commented that these seem like raw notes, and is this gonna be cleaned up more, like those additional comment tables are like notes? And so did that get changed?
That whole table is out of the
Oh,
final version.
oh, good.
Yeah, that based on the comments that we had of, taking any, previous planning policies from either the last comp plan or county planning policies, we decided we're not gonna front load that, we're gonna take that out, put it elsewhere, it's just so it's
Okay.
cleaner in the front.
Right, so back to consistency across the chapters for the transportation one, those are still in there up in the front.
So we'll
so-
take those out and put them elsewhere like we're the other ones.
Okay, cause that wasn't a comment and it was in the final version that way, so I think that would be good, yeah. Because it's confusing. And that is part of shortening that chapter. Yeah, so okay, so that is. Okay, that's so that's so already titled it laws. Seem like those weren't laws. Let's see if that stays the same. Yeah.
Looks like there's one comment in here that says we're to have follow-up conversation for the next meeting, which is about Ulysses Square. Which is on page 11.
Yeah.
9.1.4. Did we want to add Ulysses Square, which that was probably me that made that comment, but Jessica says follow-up conversation on this for the next meeting. So what would that follow-up conversation?
Just more so whether you want, this is where you put it, if there's other locations,
Hmm,
just more so trying to be more concrete
yeah,
on whether you want it in or not.
I mean, outside of the village,
This is under the,
goal and
9.1.4,
okay.
page 11.
just trying to think outside of I mean, Jacksonville is probably the only area
I know
where
there's,
they're underutilized, like a grouping. There's like building here or there,
right,
but outside of the village, it's really.
the nature center. It's like the only underutilized, it is a big one. It is an underutilized space. But are there other ones? I couldn't even recall what was in Ulysses Square. I'm like, there's H&R Block, there's Brownies.
There's something new that there was
What
Smart
else?
Start, but they moved.
Across the street or something, right?
They moved to,
Massage therapist just went
I
out
was
there.
gonna say, I think
Oh,
something new
really?
just went in there. I saw a new sign the other day. But that definitely, I mean,
It is the biggest
I am very
opportunity.
supportive.
Yeah.
Saying that revitalized.
It is the biggest opportunity, like it is literally right off 96.
Huguenot, or
The Ulysses Square.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it is definitely an opportunity, it seems.
So I think, I mean, I'd be comfortable with leaving that one there. It's a specific one where we can think of like people could focus. And maybe the public will have some thoughts on others too, other
Mhm.
areas,
yeah,
other buildings and structures.
all right. Um,
So
Roxanne, did you have anything else?
I had an earlier comment, which is section 2, which is on page 2, says laws and guidelines influencing Ulysses community well-being, and I don't think those are laws, so, anything that's listed under there, it's basically a little bit about the town. The county comprehensive plan and then Ulysses visioning efforts, it's not really any laws, so I think that should be retitled.
Yeah, what do you think we should call it?
Oh, I don't know, guidelines, it would be okay, or, something, but it's just that they're not laws, but
Are they policies?
We could call it planning principles, is that right here?
well, it's only two things in that. It's the results of the visioning efforts that we did,
Right,
these one, and then a short paragraph that says that Tompkins County Comprehensive Plan has various planning principles pertaining to community well-being, includes ensuring it's a place where the built environment, it's just like a statement of
so if it was
items in the
principles,
comprehensive plan that are, of Tompkins County that relate to community.
right, so if they use the word principles, would that be appropriate and correct?
I don't have a strong feeling about the word other than just taking out laws because there aren't any.
Is that
Tompkins County doesn't
like a
make laws for us.
standardized chapter heading that we have in all the chapters?
I think so, so we want to change it to principles, I mean, that's a fairly minor change that. Just change one word out, it's not.
Okay, next.
Um, Somebody else must have these things that wasn't me.
Are we just rolling through
I just thought we were,
page by
I
page?
thought we repeated the transportation stuff a little too much and that we could just have a shorter refer to the transportation chapter. Or at least we should make really sure that what we say in there is totally consistent with the transportation chapter if we're reiterating the
Yeah.
transportation chapter, or we could just point people to we can make them the really main points that have to do with this and point them to the transportation chapter. Rest.
So that section is, it's not too long. Do you feel like the length is okay, but it just should add a reference to the transportation chapter?
I think so. I mean, it
Okay.
looks like someone else that wasn't me said, I would delete the figure above. It's most relevant to Ithaca. Perhaps we could put a link to the TCAP website. So for that TCAP figure,
Mhm.
I didn't write that.
Oh, I wrote.
I was using the wrong Word document, but I think I had just said that this seems like a repeat of the
Mhm.
transport information in the transportation chapter, and I would suggest considering greatly shortening it. Deleting the map, which was there, same as Liz said, and referring to that back to that chapter. Or at least making really sure they're consistent.
Okay.
And the addition on recreation, additional programs. Don't know that got added. Let me see. No, it didn't. So, that we could add, maybe we could add that programming is available to Ulysses residents through the Ithaca Youth Bureau because we're members of the rec partnership. Under the additional programming.
Yeah, it's a really important point, like
I mean, the town
The town,
pays into it,
yeah.
so,
a lot of them to.
right, we're making decision as a town to support that.
Okay. Is that a comment in here for them to see, or do we
It's
need?
in the draft, the other.
It's
need
in
to
the
add-
other,
it's in the other draft.
it's in the
Okay.
word,
Okay.
it's in the chapter, it's in the word, I can tell you which one it is.
Okay.
There's a Word document just hanging out in that folder,
Oh,
that is the one that I thought, cause I missed the July folder. Sorry.
Okay.
I can put it in, I mean, I can just tell you, or I could recopy them in if it's easier for you.
We should find it.
Yeah, okay. And then, the Trumansburg in that same section, it's Conservatory of Fine Arts, I think that's just like another bullet under additional programs as opposed to a sentence by itself. It's
Yeah,
more parallel for people to find it.
and you noted that in the draft that you made your comments. in,
Yeah,
right?
I did. And then. Yeah. Maybe Smith Woods could be added in for the parks. And recreation sort of areas as examples there. Oh, and then under the education, I don't know, maybe people. Comment on that, or maybe. I'm just confused, but. So Trumansburg Community Nursery School is in the village of Trumansburg, so that's not mentioned there. And then Smart Start, isn't that the one on 96? That's in Ulysses? Okay, because it says the village of Smart Start. In the village of Trumansburg, Smart Start provides daycare, but it's not in the
No,
village
yeah,
of
that's-
Trumansburg.
oh.
And Trumansburg Community Nursery School isn't mentioned, but is in the village of Trumansburg. I guess it says the school district provides preschool, but that's not the same as the nursery school, so.
So you want to
Well, I want,
remove in the village of Trumansburg.
I just wanna,
Update the locations.
We can figure out that.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, and then add TCNS.
yeah,
To the paragraph.
TCNS is in the village of Trumansburg and
It says in
Smart
the-
Start is,
Housing development.
is in Ulysses. Yeah, that's in my notes. It's just to get it correct.
Yeah,
And, again, with the map thing, the food access, that map. I didn't really think that showed anything. It's a big purple blob. That
Yeah.
says something about
Yeah.
20 miles and so. I didn't really think it added anything beyond what's written in the paragraph, and maybe it's confusing for people to look for what information they're supposed to extract from it, so. Maybe just keeping the wording and getting rid of that map was a suggestion that we had. and the social determinants of health. To me, it's not really part of existing community services, and maybe it's a better fit in the guidelines section or something. It's really talking about the importance of social determinants of health, but now you can think about how the structure goes. It didn't seem in parallel with the other things in that section. Existing condition things, it's more of a, we should understand these things. So I was just suggesting maybe moving it to the guidelines section above. Um. Yeah, some of these are talking all, let's see. Oh, unless it got added in, and again, I apologize if it did, I could keep going back and forth, but then I feel like I'm wasting people's time. More than I already am, sorry. Nothing here mentions the three, in the objective of identify opportunities to expand parks, recreation facilities and community spaces. There wasn't anything about the Three Falls LLC project or the town along with the village and Covert are gonna manage the Boy Scout camp, and we're launching a very large try to expand our summer camps and programming and everything. From what I've heard from town board discussions, it's gonna be something we're really investing in, so I think putting something about that facility, expanding that facility is a good thing in there. So-
Under the objectives.
Well, it's under objective 9.1, identify opportunities to expand parks, recreation facilities and community areas. It would be a policy to work on, the development of that as a resource for programming.
Okay, and you added that to your,
I did. Yeah. Some other things people said in this one. Oh, the farm, and then under objective 9.3, identify opportunities to expand access to fresh food for residents. 9.3.1 says developing additional farmers markets throughout Ulysses, and to me, it's just like, can we really support that? Somebody else asked, does it mean creating different ones, or doesn't seem to me.
Yeah, I had
Ulysses
that.
could support another farmers market, but we could think about maybe perhaps we can advocate supporting and possibly expanding the current one and related programming. Maybe occasional pop-up markets for specific items like art or handicrafts or something, but not more farmers markets throughout Ulysses. It's so small, and could you really get the
Pretty
vendors? Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's already a pretty small farmers market. It's a good one, but so that comment is in there, and maybe you could think about just rewording that to expanding the farmers market and pop-up opportunities, arts and crafts and other things. Communities like Caroline, like Burktondale do that a lot. Seems like it helps their farm agriculture base.
like on special occasions or
Yeah,
something
Yeah, or
organic
they
or,
hold events to highlight farming or to highlight youth engagement, or to highlight just the products they have in the farmers market or the products they have at their local Brookton market. Maybe we could do that with Main Street Market as a thing, or things like that. Like we could think about some of that as well.
so if we're going in order here, there was a comment on 9.2.3, so the section just before that. About the bike paths,
Oh, yeah.
additional trails and bike paths and creating, and it says follow-up conversation for next meeting, so does that mean we need to?
Just clarify, has someone put connect Jayville to Seabird?
Yeah, is there a goal? Like, I guess, and that's probably my comment too. That additional trails and bike paths, I probably should put my name on that. Where, like, what do we mean? Like, do we need to identify specifically in this comp plan what we're talking about, or does that come in some later action once our comp plan is in place? Like, are we being specific to what we mean by additional trails and bike paths?
I mean, I
Usually
think
it helps when you do, just like, cause if you guys were all to leave tomorrow, someone were to pick this up, would they be able to know
Yeah,
what you're trying to say? So I would say it helps, but
so when we say additional trails and bike paths, what do we mean? What do we want?
Well, I think some of what we discussed under transportation is to get connectors from both 96 and 89 to the Black Diamond Trail.
Like
Yeah.
when
Like
Karen's
improve the
pointing out,
shoulders
yeah.
on roads and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, so that you can actually ride a bicycle there without dodging the cars.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
Perry City is a good candidate, and I've. One or two bike outfits have talked about trying to get Perry City all the way across the
Or
town.
just, can you
connect to-
possibly convince the DOT to strike the bike lane there instead or something? But I think we had a lot, or we just talked about adding some things in the transportation chapter about maybe developing a map of best routes through Ulysses.
Yeah.
and Putting that up and what Karen had suggested, so maybe here we can just,
keep it simple.
yeah, reword this a little, support, whatever creation of
Bike paths that are-
safe bike routes and.
That are connecting.
And connectivity there,
Yeah,
and then we can have in parentheses or something, see transportation
Yeah.
chapter for further details.
okay,
It seems like people were trying to say the same thing there.
yeah, okay,
I don't have all that written out here, but you guys are taking.
okay.
And then
All right, now what else, Roxanne?
the last one I had was just I think it's under the promoting the sense of community as a goal. Well, maybe we can add something about supporting community events, something like that. It
Which-
says continue to host community events. I guess that's it. But supporting them further, maybe we can even suggest forming like a community well-being committee or group that could, look for opportunities for new event programming and ways to enhance promoting the community events that already might be happening and connect
Mhm.
with like other ones that are very close by and other nearby towns and things like that. So just, so
Does
way
that,
to
like-
support community events and increasing programming and getting out awareness by, working with the different groups that might be doing little things that people don't hear about.
Mhm.
We do support like Wingford Fest and things like that, the town right now, but maybe there's more things like that. The library like tries to do, things that we can, maybe if you had a group, you could just figure out ways to get it out to more people or the.
So
repair
like in
cafes.
9.4.5, so like the last bullet.
Yeah,
there, is it
something
do-
like that, or
the
that's the
clubs and
school
committees.
district, yeah, but, it's like 9.4.1.
The school district, wait,
Oh, 4 point.
Yeah,
9.4.4.
oh,
Is the
0.6, yeah, the second one, I guess, so it should be 0.6.
Oh, yeah, it's
Typo there.
0.6, I see, yeah, something like that. Maybe a committee that, yeah, like that, so that's all. And this is just a personal preference, but having the goals always be continue this and continue that, I think if it's more actively like promote this, I know that we're already doing it, but like this is the plan for the future, and so,
I agree.
you might just write this, promote a sense of community, and then for 9.4, it could maybe be just. Something. More like expand opportunities for community engagement and connectivity.
Well,
So
I
it
agree. If
admits
we-
that you already have it,
If the
but,
goal is support the creation, we can do that for the next 50 years and never
Mhm.
actually create it. So
Right, so
like, if
just-
we want to actually create it, we should say,
just promote the sense, the goal being promote a sense of community instead of continue to. Like, I know we want to recognize that we're already doing things, but I just feel like it's
Mhm.
more active and more. So that's just instead of always having all the continues. You could modify things like 9.455, continue to work with the Trumansburg, so you could start with work with the Trumansburg School District to identify like, it doesn't mean we're not already doing it.
Yeah.
It just is more active,
Yeah.
so it's a
So,
personal preference.
no, I think that is correct, that we're actually having more action terms, do the collaborating, work with the school, create the clubs and committees, okay.
If we're already doing a lot of it, maybe we don't even need it.
So
Yeah, we have the
we,
youth commission,
Yeah,
which does a lot for the youth. We're focused on the youth, but the recreational department does bring in a lot of programming for adults.
oh yeah,
recreation
that's true.
sports. But pickleball and other communities, there might be some ways to tie those together.
Yeah, so that was all I
So-
had, and that was in line, but I could actually transfer those to this one. So if you want.
Arena.
So you only have to look at one. I'll do it. Cause it's my bad that I missed the wrong one.
Or,
And that I was behind on
For what?
Cause I was.
Have a meeting,
Yes,
like the transportation, so the
Yes.
same thing with this one.
so this will be, right, Angelina?
Yeah, we'll
We'll
give the
do
same time
same
frame.
time frame
like
for
last
this one.
week.
okay,
All right, I'll move mine to the July draft, so you just have to, we're just looking at one.
so any other comments that need discussion in this one? We're supposed to be focused on this for 20 minutes. I think we're there or beyond.
Okay.
So I think there's some comments in here still that people could respond to since we have another week. Rather than maybe just going through all of them here right now, but if anyone has any others that they want to bring up right now. Okay,
Is this the capital or what?
Now we're moving to the capital.
We're
I'm
on
just
that.
wrapping up the community well-being,
Oh, okay,
so we're gonna
still
have,
talking about that.
so we're gonna review until August 13th. And then we're gonna vote on August 15 if it's ready to go, okay. And then the next one, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Capital. Facilities and
Facilities and
utilities.
utilities.
I can't. And utilities developments.
So it looks like no one has commented on this yet, is that right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as of this morning, I did not see any comments.
Okay.
There's a couple in there now.
There is that, okay.
Right, well, I didn't quite get to those, but I had to leave.
I was gonna say, I was gonna try to print it and then like have everyone's comments just to kind of like walk them through and then I didn't see it.
I reviewed it this afternoon, so I didn't put any written comments, I figured. Talk about it, right?
So for those who were able to review this, is there anything you want to discuss that came up for you or?
I guess, I'm just out of curiosity, like in the visioning efforts. Where does the town have storm sewers outside the village?
We don't have any, I don't think.
I don't think we do either. So we might wanna just take a look. Village has. Village has them.
Well, but storm sewers would be to go to. The
Some drainage
What?
system of some
the
sort.
drainage system or the wastewater
Right.
treatment plant.
Cause it talks about. The town has.
It would be going to
storm-
centralized
So we might want to
location.
clarify that, cause we don't
don't
have.
think we
What
have.
page, I'm sorry.
Three.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I know there's been talk and a lot of people are looking at if there are ways to add either storm sewers or. Septic or not septic systems like wastewater treatment facilities, but that's a whole undertaking.
And when I discussed this a few months ago about how there was a survey and an evaluation done some years ago. And I know there was data included in this, but it wasn't clear where all of the data was coming from in terms of describing the responses. And did they include any of the responses from the survey for Route 89? I think we said that was like back in 2015 or something.
I think for the Ulysses visioning efforts and that's all the,
That's summarizing, yeah, between.
what
the
we've done now,
feedback,
but
the
just for
White
this
House and
comp
the
plan
survey.
specifically, yeah.
Okay.
But I think when we talked about I don't remember which chapters. It was talking about developing denser housing in places that are appropriate, and it was also talking about trying to put in. Sewer maybe connecting to the like in areas that would work, so I think we mentioned that in those chapters. I remember Caitlin bringing it up in a discussion, so I think that is mentioned in appropriate areas, but I don't think right now we have. On page 2, just going to similarity of format and connectivity across the chapters. So this has, in the introduction, and it's called introduction and background information, and B is overview from the 2005 comprehensive plan. So maybe instead of those big tables, which you did move out of another one, but it's like still in the transportation one, and I don't remember for the other ones, in parallel to this one, this is like kind of nice. It has the summary there.
That's
of
exactly
what was
why I
in
did
there.
it based on our conversations. I had the.
And
printed
so
version.
like for the transportation one, it might be longer, but
Yeah.
like these things were suggested. Not many of them, have been achieved yet, but then they're incorporated later down into the objectives. And so I like that better than a big table of what we used to have but didn't do, so.
Sure.
And a lot of the language in those are pretty reasonable. They could be used for the table for our new objectives, because they're similar.
Hmm.
And again, on section 2, laws and guidelines, I really don't know that any of the things in here are laws, because it's all.
Hey, we're gonna
Tom-
change
it's
that. She's
county
gonna change that
planning.
word.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the
So I
law.
We
mean,
don't need to.
no, I agree that it's everywhere, and so it's true that it doesn't,
Yeah.
and it's the Tompkins County Comprehensive, it's not the compressive plan. I always like fun typos like that.
A compressive plan.
Um, I just down under like our existing conditions and the inventory.
Mhm.
I'm good with calling, I don't know, I'm just trying to feel if there's a different way to show or present this inventory instead of the bullet list. If there's a
Oh,
table. And I'm not too concerned about everything but the local roads. I don't know if we need to call out local roads, and I feel like there's a lot missing.
yeah, we can definitely do like a table or some different type of visual to like. capture
Yeah,
this
I
whole
agree.
vibe.
It's just hard to look at.
Yeah,
There are maps in the transportation section too, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just like the local roads is
Right.
one portion, but like the education, like I
Oh,
get
those
what
are-
you're trying to do is like
They're the road.
call out
numbers, I see.
exactly what
The
we have in
inventory.
the town.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I see.
Um,
Yeah, if it was like a table or something, it can be broken into more
Yeah.
visually more.
some,
Yeah, we could do
something.
that.
And then, I mean, there's 2 Namaste schools, right? Or is the other one in Ithaca?
There are other,
Think that the, well,
Are they both
then
in
the town
Ulysses?
is listed.
one in Jacksonville and one in
Yeah.
96
Yeah.
outside of like. closer to
Down by
Albuquerque.
Gimme, yeah.
Yeah, essentially right across from the
Stick and stone.
Stick and Stones.
Mhm. Yeah. So maybe we should specify between those 2. I don't really know the difference fully personally, but
There's 2 Montessori's, yeah. We can look at which ones. Hammerstone School,
They moved.
they're not in the town anymore?
No, they were in Ithaca.
Then, yeah.
Okay. They were a specialized school for teaching women how to do some woodworking too, so
Yeah, construction.
it was, yeah. But we can cross them out now.
What is Boy Scout Park? Is that,
Clark,
Right,
that's
it's not technically in the town though.
right, it's not in the town, so we might wanna have it taken out if it's, I mean, we do have a relationship with it, but it's not in the facility in our town. Or somehow note that it's not in town,
Say a little habitat.
but that we do support it, financially, we are managing it, so we can make a note of that there.
but it's called actually what?
Right
Three-
now, it's
it's
called
Three-
Three Falls,
Three
right?
Falls, yeah.
Yeah, there is no name for it.
But you're gonna,
The state
probably
hasn't-
gonna make it.
State hasn't named it yet.
Yeah,
They haven't announced it. State. It's gonna be a state park.
right.
$10 fee.
Falls Park, Falls State Park, that's what they're gonna call it?
No,
I don't
No,
think
they haven't decided.
Well, that's what you just.
No,
said,
but
so I was wondering.
The
Three Falls.
Three Falls is the
Is the-
LLC.
Three Falls, yeah,
The
State
3
Park.
communities have
managing.
made to manage it,
About that.
so something like that, or
LLC.
just put
So we
managed,
know what we're talking.
managed by it, yeah, and we can just put a note that it's outside of the,
physically
Town.
outside. the-
physically outside the town, but supported financially by the town.
At Barton,
Camp.
like, how do I?
Yeah.
Formerly Camp Park.
Yes,
The place formerly known.
formerly known as. Prince.
Utilities. It's actually, most of our town gets water from the Bolton Point.
Smith Woods might be a facility. I don't know if it's a
I don't
government
know.
facility, but the town was thinking of taking over management of Smith Woods. I don't know where that
They,
is.
the. PRI wants to donate
Right,
it to, what's the Smith Woods town.
right. So Smith Woods could potentially be under government facilities. I mean, I guess it hasn't
It's same
happened
as
yet.
Sailor Habitat, and we own
Right.
Sailor Habitat.
What
Right.
is the percentage of public water versus wells?
Oh, it's way more.
We have more wells than.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. That's why, because when you said most people get their water from Bolton Point, that's only if they have
Public
public
water,
water.
yeah.
And all I'm saying, there's Trumansburg Water and Sewer listed here under utilities, but actually more people, the folks that have water front on the town. It comes from Bolton Point, not Trumansburg.
Right.
So that's what I was.
But there are
Like
a
it.
few people that do get water from Trumansburg.
Do we need to
And
clarify the Bolton
couple
is water?
small water district. We have that
I'm
in
trying to look up that.
entire detail in the draft
It's like-
water,
What is that?
drinking water support
Yeah.
plan, which is coming
should-
soon. So we
People
can
might not
actually
know what we
technically
need
correct
to
that.
know
We dug into that
on
a
it.
lot, like who gets the water from where, so. We have 4 water districts in the town. But only water district 3 is really large, and that comes from Bolton Point.
So for the school, I mean, so we have the Trumansburg Central School, and then we have each of the schools listed separately.
We also have the town of Ithaca, the city of Ithaca schools, because part of our town, 1/3 of it goes to the city. of
Right,
Ithaca.
but I'm just, I guess,
I guess.
I mean, maybe
whether
that's
it's
fine. It's
Physically in the town or whether it's
says
you,
Trumansburg
but yeah, we
Elementary
should figure out
School,
how to note that.
Russell
yeah.
Cleage Middle School, Charles O. Dickerson High School.
And then you say the central school, right, those are all the.
So they're all
schools, so-
within the.
Yeah, they're all the Trumansburg Central. School. So maybe we don't need to name them all.
Well, I guess that is a good question. Is this listing supposed to be the facilities that are in the town or that are
I think it's more
utilized
so
by
that
the
are
town?
serving the residents.
Okay.
Or so maybe just expand the title to inventory of facilities serving either in the town
Yeah,
or
I-
serving residents, so.
Maybe like a table and kind of just have like a disclaimer.
Or where
that
it
serves
is.
the residents
Yeah.
And that, you
Yeah.
know.
Cause that
they're
would,
different
that would be
locations.
useful, cause some people don't, I mean, people don't necessarily understand like the water, for example, or something else, so.
Well, yeah, and I guess my question was, if we're listing the school district, those 3 schools are within that school district, it's
Right.
not like a 4th school.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
if
should
they're-
have ICSD, like you said.
Does anybody know how it was ever decided to divide up the school districts?
Oh, like why it's,
Well, my experience in San Diego is Ithaca was the biggest player in the area and they glommed onto the waterfront because those are the most expensive properties.
Yeah, see that, but it's weird. I mean, there aren't that many kids that live there, but it just seems like it's odd that if there were children on both sides of the road, that you would go to different schools, even though you're like next door neighbors.
Yeah.
So there was a Willow Creek Schoolhouse, right? So when that closed, then there was the Glenwood, which that closed as Francisco Racker.
Okay.
So that's on the Ithaca side. So yeah, so when Willow Creek School closed, that was the majority of that end.
yeah.
And then you could choose, do you wanna go to Trumansburg, or do you wanna go to Ithaca?
Mm.
Yeah,
So
the
the-
dividing line is Agard Road.
Well, not
South,
really,
no, it is Agard because people who are on Willow Creek
not all of them.
Not
go
always.
to Ithaca.
This is, there's a
Because
couple
the-
random houses.
The Agards,
Well, the ones, the
Feels
kids
like-
that are there now are going to Ithaca.
the Agard farm chose Trumansburg and the Vans farm chose Ithaca.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And where was the Willow Creek School?
It's the corner of Willow Creek and, Agard Road.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, on
It's
Willow Creek,
dilapidated.
we pay Ithaca school taxes on Willow Creek, not.
Well, you do because you're on my family's land.
There you go.
That's
They
the
picked
trouble.
it. It's verbal, no. Under education too, again, the Trumansburg nursery school can be there. Isn't there right now.
TCNS.
Under utilities, in addition to Trumansburg Volunteer Fire Department, do we, or I guess Trumansburg EMS is underneath government facilities, so it is listed there. I'm sorry, because I know they're two separate, sorry.
Yeah, but, right,
But
why
that-
is?
So is EMS technically under utilities too, or government? I guess that's just a,
I would think. It's not a utility, really, right? I mean,
It's not necessarily government,
Yeah.
it's a service, right? It's a.
well, the government
Emergency
contracts for
service.
the service, so, yeah, I don't know, that's a hard one.
It's essentially emergency services.
Yeah.
They're really their own, sort of their own group.
Maybe we could just make it its own group.
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah, but I would do.
the fire department and EMS under emergency services.
Well, then does the title of the chapter need to change to something like public services instead of utilities?
Yeah,
More general?
Capital facilities,
Mhm.
utilities, capital facilities.
and
services
public
and
service, I think
utilities.
that's a good idea, because
I
we
like
don't
public
actually have that many
services.
utilities.
Right.
Yeah.
That we have anything we can do
Yeah.
about.
What about isn't there another golf course? There's Trumansburg
It's
Golf
not in
Course.
the town.
No.
Enfield.
Oh, it
It's
is?
for sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants to buy a golf.
I definitely would
Where's
love
that?
to. Ellendale.
Ellendale's for sale.
Or-
Yeah, so I think reorganize it,
well, this-
that's
it's
all.
okay.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, no, that's it.
I don't know that we really need to list all the roadways if we have the map that shows county versus.
Yeah, I think that's.
Town-
what Liz-
yeah, that's
what
what I-
Liz was saying.
No, I
Like,
agree
take
with
that
that,
out,
now
and
that
give
I,
us- Since we have like a whole transportation
I
section.
think so.
right, yeah. And I mean, that expanded map that really shows the county, state. Town roads in the transportation section would be good, and then just say, referring to it there.
Okay,
Um,
where are we at?
But it is good to mention the roads in this section because it's, it's in terms of facilities, we have to maintain them and all this.
Because nobody's looked at it, is that right? Okay, so are we getting another week to look at this one also?
We can, since nobody commented on it. so
Yeah.
need
and now you got lots of them.
We're busy just doing it
I
right
know, I'll
now.
just say, I'm sure. people
So-
are doing it, like in real
Yeah.
time, which is.
So, yeah, so rather than that, let's say we're all gonna try to look at this by next Wednesday. And then we'll vote, this one will be added to the vote on the 15th.
This one might. Well, we can
Do
see,
you need,
because
like,
you're gonna
I'm just
need
saying,
some
do you
work.
need like more time than a week, since like, there's like no comments?
No,
Or
because a lot
here.
of my comments are here. I think it's
Yeah.
more on your time frame. Are you able to turn
Yeah,
this
maybe
one?
it's following.
When it's only
yeah, so that's-
13,
it's so
it's only
much.
13 pages, so that makes
It's
it.
short.
We'll spread them out. We'll,
All right, you wanna do
So
August?
this is due by the 13th.
Well, we're
we'll
just
skip
saying,
this one. Well,
Okay,
if we can do it, then that's great. Gives them more time to turn it around.
so we have the
20th?
the transportation ones due on the 13th, the comments, right?
Same
Yes,
as the
and
community
community
well-being.
And
But the capital facilities, do you want that? When do you want that?
Is by like next Friday, then.
On the
Well, that
15th?
gives, yeah, then we
So
can-
2 extra days for this one? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll vote on the 18th or something?
Yeah. We'll have a poll about that.
Okay. Okay, any other questions or comments on this one? Okay. If we're ready to move on, the next item would be to review the timeline for the rest of the year for the committee and confirm the second public open house. And it says maybe Niels will pipe in on this if you're still present and awake. Oh, we
No.
can't hear you. Wait,
There was
turning
a
you up.
sound, but it was very faint.
There.
As loud as I can be.
That's
Okay.
better.
Okay. So real quick on timeline. Caitlin, Liz, I believe Carissa and Teresa met with town legal to talk about timelines that the town board needs everything by the comp plan steering committee in order to make a decision, hopefully before the end of this year. So the timeline is a bit aggressive for the committee. I drafted that out and I sent it to folks to review, but I've only gotten crickets at this point. That said, I did just get an email from Nate saying, apologizing. There was a number of other projects I had asked him about, and he's just now getting back to me. So hopefully I can get some answers, more of a legal question soon. I did send it also, I narrowed it down just for the committee's work, sent it to MRB, and they, Angelina, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you guys said MRB's able to work on whatever timeline the town wants to work with. So I think for now, the two big things being focused on is if we can start with a second open house timeline. Sounds like we are good to go with Racker on Monday, October 6th. So if the committee would like to deliberate on that, if that's a good date, I know that's one of the dates that was floated. And then also the time that we'll need to give them. If you want to do it 7, 4 to 8, 5 to 8, something like that.
That's a Monday. 10/6 is a Monday.
Okay, and so just October 6th, that was the only date where,
That's the one that
Yeah, we
is available for Rockers.
Carissa was able to finally touch base with them, and we asked them about Monday the 6th and or Wednesday the 8th, and they only responded with the 6th as being available.
okay. And so the preferred time is 4 to, what did we do last time? 4 to 7?
I think we did from stuff.
Yeah. So thoughts,
I'm good, anyway.
all right?
I'll make sure I'm
Good.
there this time. Last time I had come down and listened.
Who was there last time?
I was
You
there.
were
I was there the
there, I
whole
was
time.
there, you were there. You were there. Well, how many people do we really need at that? Did it feel like we had enough
It's gonna want
support?
a lot of people. I
Yeah.
will say, because people are gonna wanna sit down, or probably, we can talk about. Like the layout now, this is kind of gonna be set up, it's gonna be different.
Mhm.
People are gonna wanna talk about the chapter specifically, so if we're there.
So we need a person for each chapter? Probably.
Usually is how
Yeah,
you wanna kind of have it set up.
okay, so we need 10 people at least.
And I didn't know this date was a date we had to hold. I already have a flight booked. I'm not getting back to Ithaca until 11:30 p.m. that night.
Okay.
So I don't think I can probably change the flight. I can look, but
We didn't really have.
We
a
didn't.
Date to hold.
We didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
just so you know. Nobody told us.
and actually the crazy thing was. I did avoid, in fact, I was gonna come home Sunday and I'm like, oh, we meet on Wednesdays. I can't really fly out Wednesday. I'm gonna adjust it,
Yeah.
fly out Thursday, then I have to. So
That's fine. You all have lives.
Was not a hold these dates.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I'm okay. I have some things around it. I might not be able to stay the whole time, but
Probably deal.
how about other
Yeah, it's 5 months.
folks? That's okay for you, Allison?
I think that will work.
Mo?
What, October 6th? I don't think I'll be able to make that, but I will give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roxanne?
Probably I'd have to be out of town that weekend. But I can probably get back. It's 5
What time would it be?
hours away.
Just
4
in
to
case
4 to
I
7.
could get an earlier flight.
Or 4 to 7?
Probably not.
And we have some other folks that
Kind of a
are
lot,
here
yeah.
right now that will have to go.
Not to like. Harp on like a different venue, but is there like other venue options for like a different day that like would work better for you all that you can be there?
Well, I think
Are we like
Rackers-
committed that we definitely wanna pick like a venue? Like, right now?
Well,
It's a good
That's
venue.
Racker's got plenty of parking and
It's-
it's also in the southern part of the town,
It's,
you know, so
Outside of the.
and it has a really great big space for it's a really good venue.
Yeah,
for a big meeting and having people be able to sit at tables and talk.
Yeah,
If we have that big room especially.
someday when Ulysses
Yeah.
Square is done, that'll be a great place to have meetings. I don't think there's anything exists there at the moment. So,
And there are committee members that aren't here right now, so.
Niels, did they ask for any dates later in October than the 6th or the 8th?
No, that's kind of the week, it falls in between our meetings and it falls in between town board meetings, so we're trying to avoid and planning board meetings and
Okay.
holidays, so it was kind of
the only day that works.
the week that worked was this one,
Okay.
when we were looking at calendars with everything matched up against each other.
So if we have 5 pretty sures in the room, is that sufficient to go ahead with that date?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
yeah. Well, I can help.
Yes.
She was there the first one.
Okay.
So,
I was gonna say, we can also ask like additional staff, I don't know if they're available to, just so you have extra lines, so, like Eric's, like we will, okay, yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, 4 to 7 on October 6th.
and Niels, can you send out a team invite for all the committee members so we can get a sense of who is able to come and who's not?
Yep, I will do that tomorrow. Next big thing, if we're
Yep.
ready to move on, would be town legal really highly suggested, recommended that the comp plan steering committee hold hearings prior to issuing a recommendation to the town board. So with that timeline, we're looking at starting, and so the suggestion item was that we would start hearings for the first few chapters that the committee released. So for example, housing and economic development. And then the next one would be the next chapters that were released and so on and so forth. So the first hearing would be starting on September 3rd. That's your next meeting. And then one of my recommendations is for you guys to think about, I mean, one, are you guys ready for that? And 2, what time do you want to start? Because my suggestion would be to keep the hearings separate from your meetings, and you still have a lot of work to go through for your meetings. And I would recommend probably guesstimating about an hour for each hearing.
I have a question.
Yeah. I don't even know
First
what
of
we're
all, is I don't quite understand how I mean, public hearings are like official things, and you have to have the document ready that you put out in its form that you're gonna have it, and so we do have some of those, but we don't have all of those, and we especially haven't even talked about seeing a draft of the land use one, which is a huge one that we're gonna need to work on for a meeting at least. And all of that has to be ready before the public meeting on October 6th. And so we're gonna have 10 public hearings and
3 public hearings, not 10.
three
3 for
on
the different
groups of
chapters of
chapters.
books that have been given out. So
And-
we've already had like 3 chapters
So we have to
that
have
are already out.
more
and for
meetings
public.
before, but then
No,
what
we don't have
happens?
to have more meetings before them.
So we get input, but we're already getting other input from the public, so why do we have to have it as a formal public hearing? What did the legal say? I don't understand this. I've never seen it happen before. That's not to say it doesn't make sense to, I just like to understand it.
There's a couple different things. I think part of the people don't come to our meetings, but people might see public hearings and focus on something and are more willing to come to a public hearing to get the document or their input on the record officially. We're trying to get and offer as many opportunities for the public to have a say in this comprehensive steering committee plan or the comprehensive plan as we possibly can.
Right.
Hence why we want to do public hearings and mailings. We'll talk about in a second. We're gonna start mailing like crazy. Everybody's gonna be getting lots of mails from the town.
Okay, so our first public hearing will potentially be before September.
It would be at our September 3rd meeting,
Oh. it would
earlier
be-
in the day.
Oh.
So it might be
okay,
from
okay.
like 5 to 6, then we meet from 6 to 7.
I got it. Okay, not a separate.
It would not be a separate meeting, it would
Gotcha.
just, it would be an official separate meeting,
Mhm.
but the same day that
Gotcha.
we're already here.
Okay. Yep, no,
We're not trying to
Okay.
add like 50 meetings to everybody's plate.
No. Okay, I'm on board with that.
So
Alright.
public hearing on the 3rd.
Right, Niels, you would suggest having it ahead of our meeting on the same day. And folks would be able to stay for the meeting. If they
And
want
get
to.
your own.
Well, you're good.
Are they, and so just to clarify, that meeting on the 3rd starts at 5 or 5:30?
We can discuss.
Okay, I have this, hold on, this 5:30. So so we're talking about public hearing on the 3rd, what time? Niels?
So the way, and just, so on the 3rd. What is being proposed for the public hearing would be reviewing any comments or input on housing, economic development, and built environment. So those 3 chapters are the first ones up for public hearing. Because those have been out for public comment and review.
feel like starting before 5 gets hard for people who work to get here in time. to
Yeah.
make I feel like 5 is probably the earliest we could start. I just think it's difficult for people to get here.
I think
prior
that's
to
true.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so public hearing at 5?
And then,
So we can
5:30.
schedule it at 5. We don't usually have an end time in notices. We start at 5 and it could go, but I think we'll wanna try to limit it to 1 hour.
5:10. Oh, sorry.
But there may be times that people are only here till 5:20.
Right,
And then at
okay,
that point, if we're comfortable that people have had the opportunity to come, if they were gonna come,
okay,
we could close the hearing and into our meeting.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So we start at 5.
or maybe it makes sense to have a set time. Like the public hearing is 5 to 6, and then that way, like if people are getting out of work, like if they think, "Oh, I could get there at 5:30, but then if there's hardly anybody here early and we decide to close it and then they show up. Maybe since it's a right after work time, it might be a good idea to say the time,
I don't know how those things work.
so
We
people
could do
will
5
know,
to 6.
so that people will know that they can come.
And
I mean,
could
then we
always-
have to stick to leaving it open that long, but.
Yeah, we could always keep it open while we're talking, if
Yeah,
nobody's here,
yeah.
and keep some,
Yeah.
we're able to do
I
that.
think I mean, having people know when it would end.
Yeah, to see
Yeah,
if
the
good.
time.
And then our comp plan meeting is gonna be
6
two
days.
more, 2 more hours after that.
So the next couple months are gonna be a push, it's gonna be busy. But I think we're so close to the finish line, we gotta stick it through.
Speak, Ann, you might actually get out of this job in less than 2 years.
No, no, we're already over.
You're
2
already
years.
over 2 years.
Yeah, no, we're,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. That ship has sailed.
But we're gonna lose people if they're sleeping, so.
Yeah.
We're trying.
But it's a 20-year plan, so like we need to be sure that we're not just like. rushing,
Yeah.
'cause we got-
Yes, but we need to get this moving, we can't take 3 years to do it.
I mean, ideally too, like, hopefully we all
have
can have notes, I mean, myself included, better prepared for the next meeting, so maybe. That will help a lot of reviewing of the next chapters go quicker,
Yeah.
so that
And I-
we're maybe not here till 8, but.
Yeah, yeah, and I think honestly, for me, when I saw this time frame, it helped me a lot, cause it
Yeah.
made me better, like, instead of just constantly getting like, alright, now what are we doing, and trying to wonder.
Oh, yeah, I
This
need
is
a
very-
It's
structure
been
for
very
sure.
helpful
Yeah.
for me to
Yeah.
kinda understand like what is the expectations and time
Mhm.
frames.
I,
So Neil,
I
thank you for
agree.
pulling this together.
I agree, definitely
It's good to see it.
need some structure.
Do we need a vote on that public hearing? Or, yeah,
Do we?
public hearing or anything, Niels?
I don't think so. I mean, as long as you guys have consensus. So if I'm hearing correctly, first hearings start, or the hearings begin September 3rd, starting at 5, or sorry, starting at 5 and going to 6.
And then do we have to pick the other dates for the other ones, or are they on here?
So it has to be noticed,
It will be noticed.
yeah.
Yep. Public hearing 2 is. Would be 9/24, which that one would be an extra meeting. So we did talk about last month, for those who weren't here. Maybe starting to add a second meeting a month for the next couple, like just last couple months, just to make sure that we're giving. Adequate opportunity for all of us to provide the input and for the public. So I think we had a placeholder.
So 9/24 or 9/7?
It would, BZA has a meeting on 9/17,
Oh, shit.
but. That always is whether or not they actually have work, so I think to be sure, and for public notices, we should have it. Probably do 9/24,
9/24, and that's gonna be at 5 o'clock also.
that would be the same time, yeah. So then we'd review. We'd have a public comment. On environmental and natural resources, climate change resiliency and capital facilities and public services chapter. Is that what we're calling it now?
Are we reading this here?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're working through that.
Totally
yeah.
lost.
Page 3 of 5,
Okay.
up at the top, 9/17.
I was just
in the
over
yellow.
on the stuff that we just, like the deadline for the capital facilities and utilities, we just changed that, right?
Yep.
To the 15th.
Yep.
Okay,
And so that would be 5 o'clock, then meeting 6 to 8.
Public hearing again, 5 to 6. And then the meeting
Oh,
6
and then
to
we're
8
gonna have another meeting
On the third.
On
on
the first,
on the
the
24th.
24th of September.
yes,
September 20th, that's not on here right now.
it is. The highlighted at the top of the page.
It's on 9/7.
Well,
Oh, it's 9/17.
Well, because
Gonna
the
be,
BZA could be here on the 17th,
Okay.
that's why.
it's gonna be the 20th.
but I wasn't sure if that was gonna be just public hearing, but also it'll be our follow-up meeting after.
Yeah, because that will probably have continued discussions on the land use.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I was gonna comment, that's why I was reading earlier the details. For the meeting on the 3rd, the land use element and the map. The intro chapter and the FEI, that is a huge amount for one meeting. I think that will. Definitely be 2 hours, even if everybody gets prepared. I mean, that's a huge amount in one meeting. Land use is kind of the core thing.
Are you back on
And that's,
September
that's,
3rd?
but
Yeah.
that's only half, so like, we're gonna continue that on to the 9/24 meeting,
Right.
so.
I'm
yes,
just saying,
that's a
but
lot of
We
information.
had thought like, well, maybe it won't be 2 hours. I think it'll be 2 hours.
Okay, so second meeting on the 24th, we're confirming we don't have to vote, we're just. In consensus that is gonna work, okay. And then. The third hearing,
Just note, I do have a conflict. I have the BZA on the 17th, and so I made sure I didn't have a conflict there, but. On the 24th, I have to schedule something personally, so I don't think I can. Change that.
okay. Thank you for letting us know. And then the third hearing, October 10th,
October 1st,
I'm sorry, October 1st.
which would be the public hearing for the land use rural and the. Future land use map is what LUM stands for anybody. who Might not know that acronym. Yep, and the intro and the FEAF. So the idea is to have a good sense of what the public's thoughts and inputs are with these 3 hearings. Before we even get to the open house, so that we really can, at the open house, show them more. They're not gonna be final, because we're just having them, but like updated and like have a discussion about, is this what people were looking for?
Okay.
So we have a sense, we're not just walking into the open house without a sense.
Yeah,
So we need people, we would like to encourage folks to come to the public hearings and the open house.
So
just as an FYI, I will not be at the October 1st, I'm pretty sure I will be in Texas.
Oh,
For work.
Nice.
I might not be actually either, because I have conflict. I just wanted to just ask a question or clarify, so the public hearing would be, we don't need we're having a public hearing and the draft seeker is gonna be part of the public hearing. Because that's a lot to get ready. because I'm just thinking about the way these things have gone, and so. On the third, we do it, the discussion here, and then there'll be some editing and we'll give some to them, but then. We'll come back again on the 24th and we're gonna continue reviewing that and having discussion on all of those items, including the intro chapter. And then the public hearing is on the 1st, and you have to have the final document for public hearings available to the public some number of days at a time. I can't remember if it's 5 or 7, but like, I don't know about that. Is that turnaround
Well,
time?
just remember, we're
feasible?
not, the town board is gonna do the final public hearing for the secret adoption and the comp plan adoption.
Right.
We're getting input. The public hearing that we're doing here is to make sure we're getting the input.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the absolute final document. We still have the open house, which is gonna have other changes.
But we have to have the document that's going to be discussed at that the public is giving us input on. That document has to be ready 5 or 7 days in advance of a noticed public hearing. So I'm just wondering if that's possible. on that
Carissa had
timeline.
looked at this, and yes,
Yeah, so just real quick, that's all or that the timeline as suggested is to get in advance of the open house on the 6th. The hearing would presumably, I'm suggesting, continue until the 22nd. So October 22nd is when the committee should have all the compiled comments from the public from the second open house. And then that would be the last opportunity for the public to give comments on everything total, like all the chapters, seeker, all that stuff at the 22nd meeting.
Right, but I'm talking about the public hearing on October 1st. That is supposed to be for the land use element, the draft map, the intro chapter and the draft seeker. And we're still talking about that because it's complicated and big on the 24th. And the 1st is only 1 week later, and public hearings, since they're kind of legally prescribed things, correct me if I'm wrong, have to have the document that you're going to discuss, even though it's not the final for our plan, available to the public 5 to 7 days in advance of it. And so I'm just not sure that we could do that. I mean, maybe they don't have to be official legal public hearings. Maybe they're just public input sessions. We call them that for the public, and then you don't have that level of timeline, but you do have to have it available for people. I'm just a little worried that those last things are big and they're gonna be compressed a lot. And are we gonna have them ready? I'm just asking.
we can run it, both Carissa and Nate, our town attorney, have reviewed this schedule.
Yeah,
And
but
nobody's
I'm
brought
talking
it
about
up.
us being able to actually do it and have something reasonable for people, not whether it's legally okay or Carissa can notice it.
I mean, I think this is the home stretch and we need to make it happen. I don't know. That's my thoughts, honestly.
I'm not opposed to working hard. I'm just trying to be reasonable, considering
and that's-
what we've been doing.
Yep.
And that the land use map.
But that
and
would be the
land use
second
is the
too.
biggest thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So maybe we can
It's a
break it up,
week
but
to have the document out. Like, they would have to turn it around after our second discussions in final form for the public in a day or two, and that's a lot.
But that would be our second discussion, and it doesn't have to be a final form that was going out to the public. So we're already starting to talk about it on the,
It has to be what we're gonna talk about at the public hearing.
yes, I understand that, but we're starting about the discussion on the 3rd,
I know,
which
a
will
lot
be,
of stuff. in a
Yes.
Big meeting.
and then we also have on the 24th. So the 24th, there are other items too. There's definitely gonna be carryover and continued review. There's also gonna be carried review over until the 22nd. There's gonna be carried review on the 6th of the open house.
Right.
So there's gonna be constant conversations, but we have to get to a point where we have a document that's ready to go to the public for this public hearing on the 1st.
Right, and there's only a week.
Yep.
After our meeting,
After the meeting, yeah.
and you have to have it a certain number of days ahead of time available to the public. for a public hearing.
Yep.
And so. I'm
So you're
saying,
bringing
since
up a
like couple
concern,
Days to.
Right, you're bringing up a concern. Liz is saying, yep, we're gonna make it happen. Input over here, I mean, where else, who else needs to
Is
put
it-
input on this?
Like, what is the official number of days? Do we know?
5 to 7.
I don't think it's
Neil
five to
must
seven.
know.
I believe it's like
Neil's,
town board, I think, actually, I think
If-
it's
Yeah.
five to seven.
Officially, it's 5 days, but that's a question for legal to weigh whether or not this has to follow the same state requirements,
5
since
days,
it's actually the
including
town
weekends.
board, not the committee.
Business day,
business days?
or calendar.
Is it calendar days or business days?
Which is what I'm saying, perhaps we don't call it public hearings because that connotates a legal thing that you don't want people who maybe might object to something that, you know, that we're not doing it legally correctly. So if we're not gonna follow that kind of procedure that the town board would have to follow prescribed in town law for a public hearing, maybe we shouldn't call it a public hearing, maybe we should call it a public input session on these chapters or something. That perhaps is a question for legal or the
Right.
town board, but
Niels, do you have any input on that?
It's definitely a question to the legal, although I think the term he used specifically was hearing.
He had used hearings when we met with him, yes.
Do you, so what's the next step on this? Who?
I'm emailing Nate right now.
Okay. And if it is business days, then that means you really don't have any turn, like you're doing it immediately and releasing it the next day versus calendar days.
I believe
Yeah,
it's
if we have-
calendar days.
if we
But
have
that
to
Nate
stick
can
to
confirm
the-
that.
yeah, if we have to stick to the legal requirements of a public hearing, even though we're not the town board,
Yeah.
then yeah. And if we don't, then I don't think we should call it a public hearing because it's not.
Right, got it. That sounds like a reasonable alternative. So Liz is going to email legal, and then what's gonna happen? You're gonna communicate with Niels, and Niels, you'll let us know what the next,
Yep, but also realize that the document, this timeline is a working document, so it'll be massaged as needed.
so this is what this is our target.
Yep.
It might change. Very ambitious target. I believe in us. Okay, so what else on that conversation, on the public hearing discussion? Where are we at? Anything else? Okay, Roxanne, anything else on anybody else?
Well, I just have some more questions about this timeline, but they're farther down, so we could.
Okay.
We could ask at another meeting.
Uh,
7 o'clock.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on from that. We skipped over a couple things. Which was the language for the postcard. And the schedule for the marketing of this or the outreach for all of this. And then the quick review of the maps of the town.
That could be pushed to the next.
Okay.
I can't stay.
So
that
let's
long.
do that for the next, okay.
In another meeting.
For the language for the postcard, do we wanna, could we create like a, you know, some kind of strategy or something?
Is the postcard for the meeting? Or is
So
the
there's-
postcard to just let people know?
There is this notice that'll be for the open house.
Right.
We'll add the date. There's this document here,
Oh.
it's the mock-up of the public, the postcard that we're gonna look
Oh,
to
this
send out.
stuff.
And then there's also this press release that's gonna be issued to the newspaper.
Is this in the
It's all of the
SharePoint,
information.
so we can comment on that, or is this just paper that we're?
Neil's like.
Well, Neil's, it
Email
was
them.
all attached to the email this afternoon.
But it came at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I got
1 hour
to more than
before
an
this
hour.
meeting, so,
Yeah, okay,
So
so how do
was
we?
very long with many.
I was gonna say the flyer we did, so once we have like the dates on there now that we have that figured out, we can put that in the schedule for you guys.
Yeah, and the
We can get
postcard,
you the address first.
Okay, yeah.
and the postcard also, the language on the postcard.
That's something that the town put together, but we could put that up there, right, Niels? Well, we'll put it up.
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say, you guys have the ability, like, if you have resources or documents, you also. can upload it.
Okay.
There's some fine.
Do we wanna just do that out of meeting and
Yeah,
throw those, okay, so we actually have time to review them and,
and maybe send a link to it if you can't get in the other way, and you can get in when you click on the link.
Yeah.
'Cause for some reason,
Yeah.
I can't get in.
okay,
Yeah, well, his email this afternoon at 4 also had the link to get you to all the folders.
Right,
So,
so as long as that's where everybody puts it in the folders, not some other.
so
part
the
of
email
SharePoint.
today actually has the folder?
I don't know.
the link will get you to
The
the,
links
Okay.
get you to
Yeah.
the folder, so long as where everybody's putting everything else is in that spot. it's
Okay,
fine. But
and
there
we
needs to
can-
be different spots, so.
And we can make comments directed to it.
Yeah.
All right, so Niels, you'll just make sure we have access to that so we can make sure the marketing,
I'll work with Angelina and Jessica to make sure everything's up there, and then hopefully you guys have access. But if there is access issues, you'll need to work out those with MRB.
okay. All right, anything else on the marketing language? Okay, I think we have to do that on our own. Okay. Anything else?
the West Shore Owners Meeting is on the 25th of August. I figured I would go this year since I'm here. So I figured I'd take this flyer along. You know, you'll have it ready by then and I'll just take it with me to their meeting. It's gonna be down at the Inn at Teganic that afternoon. But anyway, I'll just take it along there.
And
So
if you need
it's just,
copies at the next meeting too, we can bring some also, if you wanna distribute them throughout town.
Yeah, we might wanna do that, but you'll need it ahead of that. our next
yeah, it's the
meeting, but
25th of
sure,
August,
yeah.
the next one, but I can at least take a couple along with me when I'll print them out at home and take them with me. And I just figured it was an opportunity to catch some of the Lake Shore folks that are only here in the summer and.
Yeah, okay, good idea.
Thank you.
So Niels, you have some next steps for the meeting in September, but I think some of these have changed. Are you able to, or Angelina, send us a follow-up on what our list of tasks are after this meeting and our dates, our change dates and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if the timeline changes from now until next week, I'll send an update for that. We'll also put out a draft agenda well in advance. The big thing is going to be pushing through the land use chapter and the FLOM. There's going to be planned at this point, there's going to be 2 workshops for you guys to work through all that stuff. So the maps that I asked MRB to present and that are on the SharePoint site, and I believe Angelina and Jessica printed out some hard copies for y'all, is to start, your homework over the next month on that.
Okay. All right, anything else? Did we get our member reports? I know we got one. Is there any other? Okay, so we just need a motion to adjourn, I think.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mo. A second. Thank you. All in favor?
Hi.